What the finance? Oh, wallet romance. Welcome to the 21-day money challenge, an initiative to help and grow your money as much as you can. Use these tips, tricks, and tools in your personal finance as well as your business finance. Share your journey and remember, you're not alone. Show some love by smashing the thumbs up button so that it can reach more people and do comment on your progress. Are you ready? Let's get started for today. Ooh la la! Day 19 is here. Even before we realize, time has just flown past, right? Day 19 of the 21-day money challenge. So, welcome for today, folks. And today I'm going to share two things with you. So, the first is a healthy financial habit, and the second is some technique for financial discipline, right? Are you ready? Let's get rocking for today. So, back to Sid again, and let's see what Sid had in his dilemma box for today. So Sid was wanting to, for a long time, have his own house. He's been wanting to, move away from staying in a rented premises, and his long-term ambition was to also have his own house. Now, just when he had, gone around, identified a good property for himself, and, thought he would go ahead and, pay the advance and, get it registered in his name, he was just talking to one of his childhood friends. And the friend actually, in the best interest of Sid, advised him not to go for this any house rather. So the reason behind why the childhood friend said that was the friend had a bad experience. The friend had actually, purchased an apartment for himself, and uh, the EMIs were pinching him, and unfortunately, the friend had lost his job as well, and therefore, paying the EMI was becoming a huge challenge. So the advice he was giving Sid was, he said, best is for you to stay in a rented premise because if you lose your job or whatever, you're in any financial constraints that you may have, or your business doesn't do well or so on, you're going to be having trouble, repaying your loan, and then the house becomes a burden and you will not be able to enjoy. So the friend was strongly advising Sid not to go in for buying a house. Now, hearing this, Sid was obviously, a little dejected and depressed because, he was always wanting to live in his own beautiful house, and, he was fed up of staying in a rented premise. But to Sid, he also felt that probably what his friend was saying made sense to him, and he didn't want to go in for a loan again. And then so Sid thought maybe like the friend said, he should wait for a couple of more years, have some more savings, and then see if he could purchase a house without opting for a loan. Now, while this dilemma was going in his head, another colleague of Sid, strongly advised Sid against this. He said, you need to buy your own house because you've been, waiting to always live in your premise, so your house. So then, why are you thinking negatively that, you may not have the money, you're doing so well, and, you shouldn't think like this, just go ahead and get it. So this again, Sid got tempted, and he was, debating. And also what Sid's colleague said was, he said, even if you postpone it by another, couple of years, thinking that, you will have enough savings, the fact is most probably the real estate prices would also go up. So even if you have enough, amount to put in up front, you're going to be probably facing a similar situation. Now, Sid gave a thought to both, and he felt there was merit in both, what his friend said as well as what his colleague said. And this made Sid even more confused. He didn't know what to do, whether he needs to opt for the house or not, whether he needs to buy the house or not. Have you faced anything similar? Or are you also going through some, this sort of a dilemma? Then what is the way out? Well, let me tell you something. There is no one size that fits all. So you'll have to take this decision based on what you are going through and based on your financial capacity, your requirements, so on and so forth. Now, let me simplify it like how Sid was able to decide. just one question that you need to ask yourself, and that can actually open up a different paradigm for you, right? And it might give you better insights. Now, when Sid was having this dilemma, the one thing that I suggested to Sid to ask him as his coach was, what can be the situation, if supposing Sid were to buy the house, and assuming that uh, he has financial challenges, what can be the worst thing that can happen financially to him? Like, would how can he actually repay the loan, assuming he didn't have any other source of income? That can be the worst, right? So when I asked Sid this question, Sid thought about it, and he realized something. He said, he has some ancestral properties that were there, most of which were coming to Sid, right? So he said, in a worst case scenario, Sid can always, either sell the new house or either sell the other property, and he would not be on the streets. Like, so he said the risk here, like what we discussed yesterday, so he felt the risk was worth it. So because it cannot be that bad. Now, supposing he didn't have any other, asset or anything else to back him up, then his decision may have been different. But in Sid's case, since he had financial backup plans, he said that it was worth for him to take this risk and go ahead and fulfill his long lasting dream of having and owning and living in his own house. So that was how Sid was able to go ahead and decide to go ahead and buy the house that he had been wanting to do. So, and of course, this also comes with an emotional value, right? Emotional attachment. So you need to look through that as well, rather than just purely looking only at the financial aspect. So for Sid, it was something very close to his heart, and it was his long-term dream, like I said. So that's when he went ahead and got it. So that was something I thought I should share with you, so that if you're also in a similar dilemma, you know how you need to make this financial choice. The second thing that I wanted to tell you was, I've been hearing and, getting some comments and in my inbox saying that, by doing all this, when do we indulge? When do we go ahead and, enjoy and live the way that we want to? So when can we indulge and pamper myself in with the money that I have? So very simple. So again, you need to come up with what really works for you and see what is the best way out. So when you accomplish something, for example, or when you think you really have some extra bonus or whatever, give yourself an indulgence allowance. Yes, indulgence allowance. You pay yourself so that you can use that amount the way that you want to. Go and indulge, splurge, pamper yourself, get what you want. So set yourself as the indulgence allowance as a reward, so that you are balancing, so you don't feel that you are constraining and restricting yourself too much, but at the same time you're also able to go out and enjoy. So if you want, even like every month, a small amount you can set aside as an indulgence allowance, and say probably after 4, 5, 6 months, whenever you think there's a substantial amount as an indulgence allowance, you can just go ahead and enjoy yourself. So set parameters, see what works for you, and go by that, but stick to the rules that you set for yourself. That is what is important, right? So your action for today is to see the preparedness for each of these. If you have any such dilemma like Sid had, not just for the house, it's an example. If you are wanting to do something like that, you can always set yourself parameters, see what you need to do, and similarly set yourself the parameters for your indulgence allowance and stuff like that. Yes, so with that, I'm signing off for today, and I shall see you tomorrow. Until then, bye.